Hi, I'm Casey Tree. 35 years ago, I was an addict with no hope and no future. It was then that I realized a simple truth that changed my life forever. The truth is, you can change. Whatever the circumstance, you can make choices that change your life forever. Join me on this journey of change as we examine living in our world and finding out what it means to truly be successful.
Coming up on today's program.
Yeah, and it's one of the wisdoms I feel like in getting older myself. I feel like I am older. I have had to walk through that season. And I feel like saying to every woman that you are on this earth for a certain length of time, that God really gives us the days on earth to serve, to help, and to give. And there is a season of life that it is very intense on raising up your children and training them. But when they do move out, you have to go, okay, God, now I've done that part of my life job. Now, you never lose your mother title or your new grandma title that will come hopefully in your future if you don't have that one yet. But you also have the responsibility has dramatically changed, and they have now become adults. So you have to let them be adults and not mother.
Well, today we're going to have a lot of fun because I got Wendy on the program teaching with me in the sanctuary. And then we're going to sit down and talk about it. And it's all about family life, right? Our greatest joys come from family. And sad to say, our greatest pains. And sometimes we're kind of in the midst of both, right? We so love being married, we love our children, and we're excited about family life. But then there's the struggles, the addictions, the hurts, the abuse, the pain that many of us feel. So we're going to give you some answers today. The Holy Spirit brings healing. The word of promise brings new hope and new vision. And I believe God is going to be speaking to you. Remember, CaseyTreat.com has all of our teaching tools just for you. Let's start today in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 2. There it says, honor your father and your mother. Today, let's focus on honor your mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may be well with you and that you may live long on the earth. So the Bible's telling us when we honor mom, it actually makes our life better. I think we see that in our culture today. When families are honored, when moms are elevated, when there is a sense of honor in the home, especially for parenting, then everything in that family gets better. Everything in that culture gets better. So, Wendy, I'm just going to try to ask you some things or bring up some things that you can respond with your mom's wisdom and godly wisdom, right? Let's talk about some practical ways. What can we do to, in a real way, honor our mom?
Right. You know, honor is so important on this earth. Don't wait until you can't appreciate to appreciate. Don't wait until you can't honor to honor. Literally, I believe that in all things of life, when you begin to see the godly, when you begin to appreciate the good, that it's like your eyes open to the rest. Yeah.
So, Wendy, let's go back to when we were having children 30 years ago. And remember, young mother Wendy, what would you say to yourself after all these years?
There's this seriousness in parenting that I would say is good. You know, I mean, you want to be a serious parent and all that, but you also want to have this spirit of joy, and that you on purpose, you can look at a situation that your kids do, and it might need training so that they don't do whatever you're seeing again. You're like, oh, I'm going to train that baby. They ain't going to act that one again. But it could be that it's actually initially kind of funny. And so I would learn how to laugh more and train after. Just the other day, we were blessed to be in Alabama, and we were at our son and his wife's home, and we were there, and they had some friends in the house, and all the little kids were in Willow's room, our granddaughter's room, and Willow had gotten into the toilet paper. Okay, all you moms in the house, you can imagine, not just one roll. I think she got 4 rolls out, right? So they had 4 rolls of toilet paper that they had totally done all over the place. It was all, and then on top of it, because they were having a mighty fine time in that room, they had taken down all the clothes in the closet. You know, they were on these little, they could reach them. They just literally had piled all the clothes on the floor with the toilet paper on top, and were bouncing away and having just an amazing time, right? Well, I walked into the room, and my old mama thought was, oh my gosh, okay, what's going to be the discipline? Get the mama in. But Krista comes in there, and she just laughed. And I was so impressed with the immediacy of the smile, the laughter, the joy of saying, you guys have been having a lot of fun. And she goes, now we get to clean it up. But it's that part of, in all realms of life. Like, sometimes the easiest is to laugh at actually when your kids are little, but you have to keep the laughter when your kids get into the different stages of their life, when they're in junior high and they're coming home and their bodies are going through changes and their faces are going through changes. You look back at some of those pictures, you're like, whoa, they were going through changes, weren't they? And but it's hard to keep the joy when it gets kind of serious and you're really curious if you're doing okay. I think this is actually, to me, a principle of everything in life. If we kept more joy everywhere that we went, and we really depended upon that spirit of joy, I think that everything would become less intense, and we would have a freedom in life. And not only that, I believe joy creates a healing in life.
Well, a merry heart does good like a medicine, and the joy of the Lord is our strength. So yeah, that's good for all us dads. That's good for every person, right? Keep the joy, laugh at the circumstances. We'll sort it out later. Get a picture and then spank your child.
Yeah.
Let's talk about seasons. Maybe you loved when you could hold the child as a baby. You loved that season where they, couldn't argue with you and they couldn't run away from you, and they were just so happy that you would hold them. But then they grow, and then they're toddlers, and then they're teenagers, and seasons change. And if we get hurt or sad over every season, we're going to struggle, aren't we?
Well, yes, we can. And I'm just going to be like, Casey, he goes through a little bit of the season of what he's particularly talking about a little bit easier than me, but I have not gone through all the season changes without a little bit of hanging on to the old and trying to pull it into the new. I've tried to bring a lot of different things with me because, I have loved the seasons of different part of parenting. Casey has been an amazing voice to help me really process and really encourage me along this pathway of believing for greatness coming in the next part of our season. I believe there's something about that conversation with God on an extremely regular basis opens up your heart to the season and the goodness of what you're in. It lets you see what God would see. It lets you kind of hear the voice of God in this time of life. And God is our peace that passes understanding. God is our strength when we have not the strength, when we don't know what to do, whatever season that you're in. Well, I learned that principle very, very young is in being a mom is, I better pray. Because God is the one that has wisdom that passes my knowledge. God is the one that can speak to my heart and direct my steps. God is the one that brings in people into my world to help me in the season that I'm in. That's what the church family is, and that's what God does for us when we pray, when we ask of Him. How do I live the next part of my life? Because my life seems empty, or my life seems confused, or my life seems without vision. God, help me in this time. And so prayer is a very important part that we press into in the different seasons. There's different parts that I could go into, but I just think that's a priority.
Yeah. Well, with God, we can handle it, right? Without God, life can get very difficult.
Right.
Well, we're going to close in prayer, and I want to remind you of the promise in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28 says, if you'll obey the Lord, the voice or the word of the Lord, you'll be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. Your children will be blessed. Your family will be blessed. Your business will be blessed. Your savings account will be blessed. Yeah, it's in the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 28. And then it closes that section by saying you'll be blessed when you're coming in and blessed when you're going out.
Did you know we have a YouTube channel? Did you know that we have the entire TV series available to watch on there? So if you missed the previous episode, head on over to our YouTube channel to catch up. We also have full weekly messages available for you to watch. To find our YouTube channel, go to caseytreat.com and click on the YouTube link. Or you can go directly to YouTube and find us by searching Christian Faith Center. Also, keep a lookout for a brand new series coming soon to YouTube. We're excited to connect with you through the comments section. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Well, let's keep talking about this message. And Wendy and I were teaching in church together. Now we're sitting in studio together and talking about marriage and making it work.
Family.
One of the things that we're emphasizing in today's lesson is the ability to move through seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal that many people don't do very well.
Right.
You know, every family, every marriage is full of different seasons. When you're young and building a career, when you have young children, when your children get older, when you have no money, when you have a little bit of money, right? When you start feeling older, when you become a grandparent. These are all just seasons of change. And if you don't move from one to the other well, then you get frustrated, and you get angry, and you start blaming each other, and
I've done those.
life gets hard, right?
I've done those. I've blamed you, gotten angry, gotten frustrated,
all of
felt the pinch of the different seasons, and kind of, I've tried to hold on to some of the old ones and pull them into the new ones.
You think that moms in general struggle more when kids get older and want less parenting, right? Need less parenting.
Yeah.
Is that harder for moms than it is for dads?
Well, since I'm not a dad and I am a mom, and mothering was such a dream. I mean, I love it. I mean, I was called the little mother when I was growing up.
You were a mom before you were a mom.
Yeah, I mean, so being a mom was always such a high dream, and just that wonder of being a mom, and I thoroughly like it. I loved it. It was just every part of it. So moving out of it, and then all of them gone, it was like you kept saying all the time, you were constantly saying, now you know they're leaving. You would constantly sow that into my heart and into conversation. And I've always been a working mom where I wasn't only in the house, where I had other parts of life that I was doing. But I have to tell you, when they all were gone, there's a part in me that I had that, like, I did hit a place of going, really? You know, really, this
changes priorities.
And I knew that I had to change. I knew that for me to be healthy in my life, I had to honestly address that there was a new part of life, that I had more dreams and I had more to do on this earth, that God didn't have me leave because he had more for me to do.
But you have a big purpose beyond being mom, right? You're teaching, you're leading conferences, you're traveling to women's ministries and church events around the world. For the average mom who that was her big deal, right?
Yeah.
Being at school, doing the soccer game, helping with the treats and the lunch.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so now kids are growing up, they're like, Mom.
Right.
And mom's calling up, hey, can you come see me? Mom, we don't have time.
Yeah.
You know, leave us alone.
Right.
So now mom feels empty.
Right,
And dad, maybe he can just keep doing his job.
Right.
He just keeps going to work.
Right.
So that's a big deal when you feel that shift in your purpose and your priority
and the joys of life.
Yeah, and it's one of the wisdoms I feel like in getting older myself. I feel like God has given me even more of a platform in our own church and around the many different women's places that I go to and have the privilege of teaching. I feel like I am older. I have had to walk through that season, and I feel like saying to every woman that you are on this earth for a certain length of time, that God really gives us the days on earth to serve, to help, and to give. And there is a season of life that it is very intense on raising up your children and training them. But when they do move out, you have to go, okay, God, now I've done that part of my life job. Now, you never lose your mother title or your new grandma title that will come hopefully in your future if you don't have that one yet. But you also have the responsibility has dramatically changed, and they have now become adults. So you have to let them be adults and not mother. Not telling them what to do anymore. You're not their trainer, teacher. You're not that same
pretty
role.
hard, right?
But I've had to really process through that and like put a hand over my mouth when I wanted to be the mom and tell them what to do when they're 25 and 28 and 30 and keep telling them. But I also had to, and I would say this to every woman, you have to really say, okay, I'm here. What is my heart dream of serving, of giving, of putting this thing that's within me that I've sowed into my children in a great way? Good for you. That is a big deal that you did. But now you have many more years of serving, giving, loving. Could be you need to go back to get educated. It could be that you could volunteer in a place. It could be that you have been trained and you go get the job in that particular area that really uses it well. It could be that you up your game in certain areas of how do I communicate this and do different things. There is always, always need for a woman that loves people everywhere. I mean,
It's
us
funny,
women,
when
we are
you're
needed.
young, you say, well, I'm busy with the kids, and they're in school, and they're in sports and music. And then when you get old, you're like, well, I'm too old, and it's not real. So people can always have a reason not to serve and not to give. And every community has a church, probably many churches, that need you.
Absolutely.
That want you. So the idea of having a purpose outside of yourself, if you're no longer parenting kids, you've got to find that. If you don't find that, you're probably going to start blaming your husband or blaming each other for your anxieties, your depressions, your worries. You start picking on each other.
Right.
And that's why a lot of marriages fail.
And a last thought to give to the mamas out there that I grew up outside. I had no family relatives except I just had my mom, dad, and we had, that's what, no relatives at all. But the church, there were women in the church that were grandmas to me, and there were aunties to me. And they molded me, they loved me, they gave to me. And I am forever grateful for women that had moved from one season of life but didn't give up that love. They sowed it into my life and they formed me. And I'm like, come on, there's so much room for women that will love people.
Yeah, so find a purpose, be ready to make the change, right? Move to a new season. Don't stand outside with your swimming shorts on when it's winter. Shift into that new season, and God has something wonderful planned for you. Well, let's have some fun talking about questions and things that are on your heart. And I always enjoy getting testimonies and reports, questions from our friends across the nation and around the world, really. So email us, text us, right? Connect with us at caseytreat.com or on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter. We'll pay attention to the things you share and the questions you ask, and it may end up here on our program. So we have some good questions today as we talk about relationships. Here's number one. What's the best way to let go of things I've been hurt by in my marriage? Yeah, so we all have some hurts, don't we? Small or big. We all go through bad seasons, hard times in relationships, and most of us say things we wish we hadn't have said. So probably true for every marriage where we get emotional, we get upset, we start saying things we shouldn't say. Boy, that becomes hurt. Now, how do we get past that? How do we move on? So to me, the big key is what's ahead of us. What's our vision? What's our purpose? What are we living for? What are we reaching for? The Bible said, where there is no vision, people perish. And I think it's true for marriage and family. Where there is no vision, families struggle. Families suffer because we have no purpose. Why are we doing life together? Why are we growing up together? Why are we just trying to pay the bills? We're just trying to go camping this week. That's our only purpose, is to go camping. No, we want to live for God. We want to be a part of God's family, His church. We want to add to other people. We want to bring people to the Lord. We want to be a part of life with God. So that then becomes the forward focus. If you have no forward focus, it's hard to overcome your past. It's hard to get past the addiction. It's hard to deal with the hurt. So forward focus keeps you moving forward. What you're living for is more important than what you've been through, right? What you're living for will energize and strengthen you and help you to overcome what you've been through in the past. All right, here's another question. I haven't been close to my parents. How do I honor them? Yeah, the Bible said, honor your father and your mother. The first commandment with a promise. And the promise is that you get to live, right? You'll live long. You'll have a good and long life if you honor your father and your mother. So if you haven't been close, or maybe your parents weren't Christians, maybe they were struggling with their own addictions, their own problems. Yeah, you may have some pretty negative memories. So how do you honor father and mother? Okay, basic honor is thank God for them. Thank God for your parents. They brought you into this world. They gave you what you have in terms of your personality, your gifts, your abilities. So honor them for that. Maybe they didn't know God. Maybe they didn't do much to help you to know God and live in God's will. But you can honor them because they brought you into this world. They gave you what you had. And even if you don't know your mom and dad, right? A lot of us don't know who dad was and didn't grow up with mom and dad. We were adopted or whatever. Okay, thank you, Father. You used those people to bring me to this world. I've found you. I'm grateful for them, and I'm going to fulfill your call on my life. So you start at that bottom line. And then whatever good you can focus on with your parents, make sure and do that. It's easy to complain, easy to whine. Here's what they didn't do. Here's what they should have done. Anybody can find something wrong with somebody. But Christian people honor the good. Focus on what's godly, what we can be grateful for. And yeah, it's not that hard if you give it a go. Okay, one more before we run out of time. How do I discipline my kids without hurting my relationship with them? Well, really, the question should be, what's going to happen if I don't discipline my kids? You'll have no relationship with them. I think many times we parents forget that we're not trying to build a friendship here. And sometimes we treat our kids like our pals, and we're just trying to be friends, and we just want to hang out together. You've been given that child from the Father to teach them the way they should go. Show them how to make wise decisions. The Bible said, bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. That's the priority, not them liking you, not being their pal, right? What a tragedy when you find kids are drinking with their parents, smoking pot with their parents, living in ungodly lives with their parents, and their parents endorsing negative behavior. And that's not a friendship. This is not a good plan. This is going to create nothing but pain and dysfunction, right? Dysfunctional families come because mom and dad are not being wise parents. So you really want to have a great relationship with your kids, bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Teach them what's good and what's godly. Be strong to show them the way that they should go. Well, I just want to let my child find his own way. How foolish is that? No animal on the planet does that with their children, right? The bear shows the little bear how to be a bear, right? How to survive, how to live, how to fight, how to overcome. Nobody just lets their children find their own way. Sometimes we humans act like the dumbest animal on the planet. No, Let's show our children how to know God, how to serve God. Now there'll be days you're like, Mom, you're too hard on me. Dad, you never give me a break. But you know what? Someday they're going to say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, that you gave me the truth. You showed me how to walk with God. You showed me how to know the Lord. And you helped me to be a disciplined person. They will always be grateful when you bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. And that's what you want, right? There may be some tough days along the way when the kids are up, I hate you, but it won't be long when they say, I love you.
Send your questions to Pastor Casey. Just email them to questions@caseytreat.com or connect with him on social media. Just search for Casey Treat. Be sure to watch future programs where Pastor Casey will answer your questions.
Well, I hope you've been blessed today, strengthened by our teaching, lifted by the Word, and we really do pray that you are hearing things that will help you to enter into more of what God has planned for your life. And Wendy and I want to give you our best teaching tools, right? Things that will add to your life, your parenting, and help you when it comes to family life. So got some very special CDs or DVDs and a book that Wendy wrote about how she loves parenting, and it's true, she does. Now she's a grandparent, and we're loving that season, but we'll share with you the biblical insights and the answers that may help and really make a big difference in your life and in your family. So go to CaseyTreat.com, get the special offer, or call right to the number on your screen. We love you, and we're praying for you.
Did you know we have a YouTube channel? Did you know that we have the entire TV series available to watch on there? So if you missed the previous episode, head on over to our YouTube channel to catch up. We also have full weekly messages available for you to watch. To find our YouTube channel, go to CaseyTreat.com and click on the YouTube link. Or you can go directly to YouTube and find us by searching Christian Faith Center. Also, keep a lookout for a brand new series coming soon to YouTube. We're excited to connect with you through the comments section. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel